A monarch butterfly begins life smaller than a grain of rice. Yet some monarchs will later fly thousands of kilometers across a continent. They have no map, no teacher, and no memory of the route. Many migrants are traveling toward places they have never visited before. Even stranger, the butterfly making that journey is built from a caterpillar that essentially dismantled much of its old body inside a chrysalis. So how does Danaus Plexippus go from a tiny egg to a milkweed-eating machine to one of the most famous travelers in the insect world? And what does this delicate-looking animal actually contribute before its short life ends? The story begins with milkweed. A female monarch searches carefully for plants in the genus Asclepius. She does this because her caterpillars are specialists. They cannot simply hatch on a rose, reconsider their options, and order something else. They need milkweed. The female usually places her eggs individually on milkweed leaves. A single female may produce several hundred eggs during her lifetime, although survival is another matter entirely. Eggs face weather, predators, parasites, and simple bad luck. After roughly 4 days under favorable conditions, a tiny caterpillar emerges. Its first meal may be its own eggshell. Efficient, slightly unsettling, completely normal. Then the serious eating begins. The young monarch larva feeds on milkweed and passes through 5 growth stages called instars. Because its outer skin cannot expand forever, the caterpillar repeatedly molts. Each new stage produces a larger animal. Soon, the famous pattern appears. Black, white, and yellow bands wrap around its body. 2 pairs of flexible filaments project from the front and rear. Despite their antenna-like appearance, these are not the caterpillar's true antennae. Underneath that striped exterior is a remarkably specialized feeding system. The caterpillar has powerful mandibles for cutting leaves. Along its body are spiracles, tiny openings connected to tubes that deliver oxygen directly through the insect. And those many little legs require clarification. Like other insects, the caterpillar technically has 6 true legs near the front. Farther back are fleshy structures called prolegs. They help it grip leaves and move, but they are not the adult butterfly's walking legs. Milkweed adds another twist. Many milkweed species contain defensive chemicals called cardenolides. Monarch caterpillars can tolerate and store some of these compounds. That chemistry can make monarchs unpleasant or toxic to many predators. Their bright coloration is therefore more than decoration. It functions as a warning. In nature, looking fabulous can occasionally be part of your security system. For roughly 2 weeks, depending strongly on temperature and conditions, the caterpillar's main occupation is growth. It eats, molts, grows, and repeats. Then everything changes. A fully grown caterpillar leaves its feeding routine and searches for a protected surface. It attaches itself using silk and hangs downward in a shape resembling the letter J. Soon, its striped larval skin splits. Underneath is not another caterpillar. There is a chrysalis. The monarch pupa is usually green, decorated with metallic-looking golden spots. From the outside, it seems almost motionless. Inside, however, an extraordinary reconstruction is happening. The caterpillar does not simply grow wings onto its back. Many larval tissues are broken down, while groups of cells reorganize and develop adult structures. Legs become long and jointed. Compound eyes develop. A coiled feeding tube forms. Wings take shape. The insect is rebuilding its lifestyle. After roughly another week or 2, again depending on environmental conditions, the chrysalis darkens. Orange and black wings become visible through its outer covering. Then the adult emerges. At first, it looks surprisingly helpless. Its abdomen is swollen. Its wings are soft, folded, and useless for flight. The monarch pumps fluid into the wings, expanding them to their full size. The wings then harden. Now examine the finished animal. Like all adult insects, a monarch has 3 main body regions: head, thorax, and abdomen. The head carries 2 large compound eyes. Each contains many individual visual units, helping the butterfly detect its surroundings and movement. 2 antennae provide important sensory information, including odors. Then there is the proboscis. Instead of chewing leaves like its younger self, the adult monarch uses this long, flexible feeding tube to drink liquids, especially flower nectar. When unused, it coils neatly beneath the head. The thorax is the movement center. 6 jointed legs attach here, along with 2 pairs of wings. Those wings are not simply orange sheets. They are covered with thousands of microscopic scales. These scales contribute to the monarch's colors and patterns, creating the familiar orange wings crossed by black veins and bordered with white-spotted black edges. The abdomen contains major digestive and reproductive organs. Male and female monarchs also show subtle visible differences. Males usually have a dark scent patch on each hindwing and somewhat thinner black wing veins than females. But becoming an adult creates a new problem. The caterpillar had food underneath its feet. The butterfly must find it. Adult monarchs visit many flowering plants for nectar. In the process, pollen can be transferred between flowers. Monarchs are therefore pollinators, although they are only one part of a much larger community that includes bees, flies, beetles, moths, birds, and other animals. Their ecological value goes beyond pollination. Monarchs are also prey for certain predators that can tolerate or avoid their chemical defenses. They participate in food webs rather than floating above them as decorative celebrities. And they have another unusual benefit. They connect people with ecology. Because monarchs are recognizable and their migration is spectacular, they have become powerful ambassadors for habitat conservation. Protecting monarch habitat can also preserve milkweeds, nectar plants, and resources used by many other insects. Then comes the most astonishing chapter. Most adult monarchs from spring and summer generations live only around 2 to 6 weeks. They reproduce. They die. Their descendants continue the cycle. But in North America, the late-season migratory generation operates differently. These monarchs delay reproduction and can survive for many months, sometimes around 8 or 9. Eastern monarchs may travel enormous distances toward overwintering forests in central Mexico. Many western monarchs migrate toward coastal California and nearby overwintering regions. Although monarch migration patterns are complex, and not every population migrates. Here is the remarkable part. No single monarch completes the entire annual multi-generational migration cycle. The northward expansion unfolds across successive generations. Later, a generation born far from the wintering grounds begins the long southward journey. Those butterflies have never personally made that trip before. Yet environmental cues, inherited biological mechanisms, and sophisticated navigation abilities help guide them. The tiny insect from the milkweed leaf has become a continental traveler. Eventually, even the long-lived migrants reach the end. After surviving winter, many begin moving again when conditions improve. They reproduce, and their offspring continue northward. The older butterflies die. No dramatic finale. No final destination screen. Their bodies simply return to the ecosystem, while another generation carries the story forward. And that is what makes the monarch more interesting than its famous orange wings. Its life is a chain of transformations. An egg becomes a chewing larva. The larva becomes a silent chrysalis. The chrysalis produces a nectar-drinking flying adult. Short-lived generations reproduce rapidly. A special migratory generation survives for months and crosses huge distances. Every stage solves a completely different biological problem using the same genetic blueprint. But this system depends on habitat. Without milkweed, monarch caterpillars lose their essential food source. Without nectar-rich flowers, adults lose critical fuel. Habitat loss, pesticide exposure, extreme weather, and climate change can all place pressure on monarch populations. Helping them does not require turning your garden into a butterfly theme park. Where appropriate, planting native milkweed and diverse native nectar plants can provide real resources. Avoiding unnecessary pesticide use can also help insects far beyond monarchs. Because the final lesson is bigger than one butterfly. A monarch may weigh almost nothing, yet its life connects plants, predators, seasons, chemistry, metamorphosis, migration, and entire landscapes. It begins on one leaf. It may end thousands of kilometers away, and between those moments, it demonstrates one of biology's most elegant ideas. Survival does not always mean staying the same. Sometimes survival means becoming something completely different.